Wow, once again, you are welcome. And as always done, life is a challenge. Life comes with its own up and downs. That's why others prefer to describe it as a roller coaster. Yesterday, we had a class on If, a poem by Rudyard Kipling, and today I promise to do a discussion with either the devices or the themes. So, back to class, ready to digress, and do detailed analysis of the various themes or some of the themes that are present in If, the poem you can see on your screens right now. It is a motivational poem that is about moral strength, discipline, emotional control, resilience, and maturity. The poem is written as an advice, like I said yesterday, from a father or a father-like person or speaker to a young person or a son. Each stanza of this poem presents difficult situations and explains the kind of character traits that are needed to overcome these situations. The central idea or the centermost idea that Kipling presents in this poem is that true maturity comes from mastering yourself and not controlling others, not succumbing to the pressures of others. The first central idea that I want us to look at today is self-control and emotional discipline. Self-control and emotional discipline. One of the strongest things in this poem is the importance of controlling one's emotions, especially under pressure, especially when the going gets tough. How to control your emotions. And I would like to defend that with some quotes or a quote from the poem. If you can keep your head when all about you are losing theirs and blaming it on you. This quote actually means that a matured person remains calm even when others panic or even when others unfairly blame or blames him or them. Now, the phrase keep your head actually means to stay calm, to stay rational and composed. Kipling suggests that emotional stability is a sign of strength. Ability to be emotionally stable in itself is an enviable trait that not everyone could possess. He or the speaker or the persona does not in any way say that life is fair. No. Instead, he assumes that people will or might blame you, people will or might doubt you, hate you, or criticize you. What matters isn't the actions of these people, but your reaction to whatever that they do to you, to all the negativity that they bring your way, how you react to it, that is what matters most. So the ideal person is someone who does not react impulsively or emotionally to the actions of others. Now, another way of proving the theme of self-control and emotional discipline or maturity is in this line. If you can wait and not be tired by waiting, or if you can wait and not be tired by waiting, patience is presented as another form of self-control. Waiting without frustration, requires discipline. And this has been suggested in the poem that strength is not only physical courage or external courage, but also the ability to endure delay, the ability to endure uncertainty, and the ability to endure disappointment. So your ability to control yourself in times of uh, success or failure is very important to define your level of maturity. So that is one thing that he or Kipling presents in the poem If. Another very significant thing that you can look at in this poem is resilience in the face of failure. So this poem strongly emphasizes resilience. Resilience here means the ability to recover after loss, the ability to overcome failure, the ability to withstand hardship. That is the resilience here. Now, this is clearly stated in this line, and I read or and I quote and unquote. If you can meet with triumph and disaster and treat those two imposters just the same, your ability to be able to withstand or treat your triumph, which is success, and disaster, which is failure, the same, is like you are being able to resist them. Now, triumph and disaster, according to Kipling, are imposters, and that is a personification. This means that both triumph, which symbolizes success, and disaster, which also symbolizes failure or hardship, can deceive people. Success may make people arrogant, and I have encountered a lot of people in this life that move from calmness to arrogance because of success. And failure may make them hopeless. Most of us just easily give up to become hopeless when we encounter failure. But Kipling argues that in this poem, both should be treated with balance. You should be able to resist or be calm when you fail. So the word imposters is key and very important in the lines I quoted, because it suggests that neither victory nor defeat defines a person completely. They are temporary, not permanent truth. Another lines, if you can, I quote, if you can make one heap of all your winnings and risk it on one turn of pitch and toss and lose and start again at your beginning and never break a word about your loss. There's so much resilience here. So this line suggests that someone risking everything you ever had in life, you risk all and you lose it all, and you still start again without complaint. You still start again without defeat. This shows extreme resilience. The person that risked it all and lost it all does not become bitter, does not seek pity, and does not allow failure to destroy him or her or them, but rather they start all over again. So the lesson is not easily take risk. Rather, it is if you take risk and fail, you must still have the courage to rebuild, to restart all over again. We also have a very interesting theme. It's one of my favorite. I am not in any way uh, suggesting that the other things are not important. They all underscore the importance of this poem, why I chose it for you, my audience and listeners. But this theme I'm about to talk about now, that is humility in success, is something that the world needs. I personally believe that. Thank you, Barbara. Hi, Barbara. Hi. Okay, you say hi twice. And hello, Medwash. I hope I got your name right. And hello too. I hope everything is okay. Thank you for joining. All right. So as I was discussing around humility in success, and I said, I think and I feel that the world actually needs lots of humility because a lot of people quite humble, but once they become successful, then everything changes. Okay, sorry for that little break. Then everything changes. But I personally believe that the world that we find ourselves in, your success should not make you arrogant. Your success should not make you treat people anyhow. So now let's get down to the poem and get the message in the poem. So if you can dream and not make dreams your master, if you can think and not make thought your aim. So humility is presented in these lines. Your ability to dream and thoughts which are very valuable to our survival. Every human being should be able to dream. Every human being should be able to think, aspire, have aspirations, and try to live by those aspirations. But the most important thing is that you should not allow those aspirations to control your personality. You should not allow those aspirations to control you. That is what the poet is suggesting in these lines. You can dream, that is right. So dreaming is okay, dreaming is normal, but your ability to control yourself and not allow your dreams to control your personality is very important. A matured person can have ambition without becoming trapped by fantasies. This is very important. Someone who is matured can have ambition, but you are not trapped in those fantasies. You don't live your dreams without actions. No. They can think deeply without becoming passive or detached from reality. And when finally those dreams become their reality, they are not controlled by it. They still maintain their humility. If you can talk with crowds and keep your virtue, or walk with kings, nor lose the common touch. This is very significant to the theme that I'm describing now. It's the apex of the theme I'm describing, humility in times of success. It is the clearest statement about humility. A person should be able to interact with both ordinary people, that's the crowd. Crowd here comes with a lot of people, while keeping moral integrity. At the same time, they should also be able to associate with powerful people, kings, the rulers of nations, of institutions, of organizations, without becoming proud or disconnected from ordinary life. Basically, simple language. The people you associate with, the people you interact with should not change you drastically. You can learn from them, you can learn from the situations, but they should not dictate the kind of life that you live. They should not change you from your normal self. So the phrase here that makes it clear and important is that nor lose the common touch which means that success should not make someone arrogant. This persona here values a person who can rise in status and still remain grounded and still remain calm and still remain himself or herself. That is a virtue, a very important one. Now let's look at another thing, integrity and moral strength. In the 21st century today, I think a lot of people lack integrity in a lot of things that they do. A lot of people do not have integrity any longer. Our unquenchable desire for success has actually taken us away from moral values and integrity. Yes, this is literature, so someone might argue that when we say moral values, what are they? They are determined by society. But people go to the extreme just to achieve certain means or levels of success without thinking about the repercussions or the effect of the means or the measures that they are adopting on the people around them. So integrity and moral strength as presented in this poem is a very important thing that one must be conscious of. Integrity, like I said, is another major theme in this poem. The poem repeatedly stresses the importance of remaining honest, fair, and morally steady, even when others behave badly, even when others try to tarnish your image. Kipling writes, if you can trust yourself when all men doubt you, and make allowance for their doubting too. I explained this into details yesterday. Your ability to view or balance your confidence is very important. The key word here is balance. Balancing your confidence here simply means that you should be able to believe in yourself and not become arrogant. At the same time, you should not have reasons to doubt yourself, and you should not also allow, like, brush aside everything that others say about you. The doubts from them, give room for it because you might grow. You might learn and grow from it. So give room to it as well. So there should not be blind confidence. It is matured self-trust combined with humility. Now, another lines that also project this theme is, or being lied about, don't deal in lies, or being hated, don't give way to hating. So the fact that they lied about you doesn't mean you give room to the lies and also start lying. The fact that they hate you doesn't mean that you give room to the hate and also start hating. No. Your morality or a person's morality should not depend on how others treat them. Even if others lie about you, you should not lie in return. Even if others hate you, you should not become hateful. This is a demanding moral standard. And the poet suggests that true character, true maturity is revealed when a person refuses to copy the wrong behaviors of others. These are not easy feats. That's why this is from an elderly person to someone that he feels needed or needed it, a son. Now, a fifth thing that we'll talk about today, probably we'll just talk about 6 or 7 things, then we end it. There are a lot of things, so when I finish, I'll mention the others, and the one you don't understand, leave it in the comment, and I'll come back. I'm always at your service. Patience and endurance. Hmm, hmm. There's this popular African saying that it is patience that enables a man to castrate or bisect an ant and see its intestine. Looking at the size of the ant, we all know that it's not easy to take a knife or anything and cut it open. But it's believed that with patience you can do anything. The poet suggests or talked about patience and endurance. These are two very important human qualities or attributes that personally I believe a lot of people need, but it's not easy to attain. So according to Kipling, a strong person is not only someone who acts bravely, no, but also someone who can endure difficulty over time. If you can wait and not be tired of waiting, shows that patience is not passive weakness. It is an active endurance. I would like to take that again. It just flashed in my mind, but I would like to take it again. If you can wait and not be tired of waiting, as a line in the poem suggests that patience is not a passive weakness. It is rather an active endurance. So you have to continue waiting without losing your discipline or your hope. You endure. If you can force your heart and nerve and sing to serve your turn long after they are gone, body parts have been used over here. The heart, the nerves, to represent emotional, mental, and physical strength. Long after they are gone suggests exhaustion. When you are exhausted, you have no strength within you, but you still continue to endure. You still continue to have your patience. This is one of the point's strongest image of endurance. When the only thing you have left is your willpower and you rely heavily on it. That is endurance. Now we end with this theme because it's getting longer. So we end with this theme, but leave it in the comment section. I'll actually share this live on my channel so you can listen to it at your own time and comment. Whatever you don't understand, trust me, I'll come back and explain it to you. So courage and risk taking. One of the main qualities that differentiates some ordinary people from extraordinary people or failure from success sometimes is the courage and to take risks. The poet is not suggesting you should gamble. No, gambling isn't what he's saying. But sometimes you need to risk it all to get it all. So if you risk it all, you can either get it or lose it all. So he does not present life as a safe or as being predictable when you can predict when to risk and when not to risk. Some do have the ability to do that, but I don't think that is what Kipling is suggesting. But rather, what he suggests, per my understanding and interpretation of the poem, is that courage involves taking risks and accepting possible results or losses. In other words, courage is the ability to take risks and be responsible to your risk. If you can make one heap of all your winnings and risk it all, or risk it on one thing of peace and thought, one heap of all your winnings suggests everything you have, everything you have ever worked for, everything you have ever gained. And to risk it all, one thing of pitch and thought means to place everything on a single uncertain chance. This reflects risks people face in life. And we face different types of risk, different categories of risk. We face career risk, moral risk, financial risk, personal decisions or risk. Kipling or me, we admire people who can take risk greatly, but also survive emotionally if the risk fails. I personally admire such people a lot. It's not an easy thing to do, especially taking the risk and living with the repercussions isn't that easy. Now, another important part comes after the loss. And lose and start again at your beginning. The courage he praises is not only the courage to risk, but the courage to begin again after failure. So when you read this poem, when you read between the lines in the poem on your screen, you will realize or you will agree with me when I say that it is a very deep, emotional, and motivational poem that tends to advise you about life, its uncertainties, its difficulties, how to live it, and how to succeed, fail, and to survive it. Now we have other themes. Independence of the mind is a theme here. Handling criticisms, hatred, and injustice is another theme here. A balance between ambitions and reality is equally a very important thing. And perseverance and inner willpower. That willpower, that inner willpower is a very important thing. So I think I should talk about that. So hold on when there's nothing in you except the will which says to them, hold on. I take it slowly. And so hold on when there is nothing in you except the will, that's the inner willpower. The will which says to them, hold on. Will gives it importance. It is presented as a separate force within the person or within us when everything else fails, when our energy fails us, when our courage, our hope, our personal or physical strength all fail us, our willpower or our will remains with us. It commands or it helps us. So the command, hold on, captures the endurance. Survival often depends not on comfort or on uncertainties, but on the decision not to give up. And that decision can be made if your willpower is conscious, is there, and always tries to move you or push you to do more. We have another theme of respect for time and responsibility, maturity and manhood, maturity and manhood, mastery of yourself, mastery of yourself. So these things all come together to teach you about life. It twists and turns, it roller coaster nature, it uphills and downhills, ability, what you need to live it, what you need to survive it, what you need to withstand it. So you will be a man, my son, when you are able to live by the principles that Kipling presents in this poem. So go through this message, try to understand it. Whatever you don't understand, as I mentioned earlier, I'll leave in the comment section and leave your comments. I'll leave it on my channel. Sorry, leave your comments and I'll come and address it. In our next class, you encounter me with another very interesting poem that I'll bring to your way and try to help you understand it. So the last statement for today is that literature is life, literature is fun, literature is interesting. Try to enjoy it and you enjoy life. Have a beautiful day. Have a nice day. Bye bye.